Right, I'm back. I'm playing Stormworks. I'm live, and I'm working on the Frantic solo. I've had enough of whatever this damn feud is. I don't give a damn about the feud. The fact is simply this: Red, I don't care what malice you have towards T10. Right now, none of this matters. What matters is we have a ship we're supposed to be building, and one we should have been done with probably earlier in the month. Now, I don't care about the animosities. You guys can sort that out whenever we're done with this ship. Right now, this feud is over. Understand? This feud is over. We have a ship we're supposed to be building, and I'm personally am starting to get sick of having to do these live streams to try and work on this boat. There comes a point where I want to move on from Stormworks and do other stuff that I'd like to be doing. As far as updates go, I've personally streamlined this out. I've finished building the officers' quarters rooms. There's only about 8 if you count the closets in both of these. There's going to be identical desks, which as you can see are here. This is the chart room / damage control. You'll have a chart on this side. You'll have damage on this control on this side. And yes, I'm planning on maybe possibly extending this out by 1, which I will probably do right about now. That way a chart table can be included in the final draft. I'm sick of having to do this, of being the one who has to build this ship every 10 days, every few weeks, and it's getting on my nerves. This technically wasn't really supposed to be my ship that I'm working on. Tyler, Mr. Minecraft, Amy, what's up, y'all? Right. I'm thinking of having a chart right here. There'll probably be another one on the wall here. They won't be labeled, they'll be paintable signs. Paintable indicators are going to be used for the diagram of the ship, which will be, I think, along from here. It'll be from here, probably back to here. That'll be a survival gear locker. There we go. Now for the main diagram of the ship, this will be just like a blueprint hung up on the wall. It's basically what I'm going for here. It's kind of like the Atlanta, only difference is it's not really going to light up. So, sorry. For the sake of lag, I am not letting this thing light up. Red, if you're watching this, this is going to be needing to be painted. The reason I'm annoyed about this is because my sister and I have dentist appointments we have to go to, and I really was not wanting to have to be doing this. I mean, this ship has got a huge amount of decks, and I'm thinking of putting a flood system in, similar to what's on the U-boat. That looks cool. This here's the smoking room that Red built. As you can see, it's linked to the bar. Speaking of which, I'm surprised nobody bothered to shelving. Those are going to hold like drinks and such. Take note, there's no top part here due to the light. Actually, I'm going to just remove those. Yes. Thank you, Tyler. Amy Base, name is the Frantic. It's named after the YouTuber, and you'll see it. You'll recognize it in a minute when you see the funnels. Or the funnel. This is the bow section. There's the logo. And by the way, these do have power, I should mention. The problem is, it's only the bow that still has all the lights connected up. The midsection and stern that have these promenade lights are going to have to be completely rewired. Same goes with the engines and any lights below decks. Now here is the entrance to the kitchen on the right, hospital on the left, and their respective storage rooms here and here. They're both going with the same color scheme. Might change this up. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to change it up to have a more prominent color scheme. One will be a bit of a lighter turquoise. Problem is I'm going to have to repaint every single thing this color. But you can see it looks a lot less drab, that's for sure. Now, by the way, this here is part of the fuel tank. Because here is the ship's emergency generator room. Note of the emergency lights. I have them all differently. The emergency lights are a dark orange. Speaking of which, I think I need to change these. Oh god, that's not what I meant to do. That's the entire freaking ship. That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, no, I need to have this to the additive. Okay, no, these are already changed. Never mind. Okay, perfect. Makes my job a lot easier. Oh, new additions to this. Added firefighting gear. There's now firefighting gear in the emergency generator room and the turbine room. These are done. All the turbines have to have hooked up with these little control boards here. Engine room is pretty much done. The only thing that needs to be added in it is essentially a machine shop. I need to have details added for there to be a working machine shop. Well, not a working machine shop, but oh, for God's sake, you'll see it whenever I get this midsection in. I just realized I could have repainted all this by having this on, for God's sakes. And you can see just how subtle the color change is. It's not really that much of a change. It's only a bit brighter. It's like putting the brightness up on your phone or computer, and this is what you get, basically. The color's a lot more vibrant, and it stands out, and I just realized I screwed this up because I didn't want both sides being the same color. Oh my goodness, this here is what annoys me. I can't make my mind up. I'm trying to make this really a lot more subtle. And as you can see, painting is literally all I've gotten done. As far as my part goes with detailing the ship. Like, I mean, if you guys have noticed, I've probably done more on this boat than anybody else has, as far as, you know, certain designs go, as far as what goes where, and all that. I've been trying to do as much as I possibly can with the ship. Now, as you can tell, I'm going to have to do this again for this entire hospital. Because the whole thing is painted in this drab green or turquoise. It's a very, very dark. I don't know if it actually would be considered turquoise at this point. I really don't know. I mean, there's a good an idea right there. That's the new color. This is the old color right here. In fact, you can see the contrast right there, because I'm going to leave this real quick. Yeah. Thank you. I just am annoyed that I'm one of the main guys having to work on everything. I'm doing everything from painting to lighting to installation of bilge pumps, you name it. I'm the guy that has to install everything. One thing I'm worrying about right now is if I'm going to be able to wire everything properly. I don't know if I'll be able to wire everything up and not end up missing something, because take note, there's no lights in here. There needs to be lights. And I need to get emergency lighting installed first. Right, so there's this part done, I would hope. I mean, you can see the contrast, but there's where it marks the hospital, and you can see the back part. This is the back part of the D-deck staircase landing. Nice, Kevin. Now you can see the kitchen here. Now, the color it might appear the same after a while, but when you first see it, you won't really be able to tell the difference unless you look at the colors real closely or in a bright light setting. These are very similar. In fact, well, I say that. I'm going to laugh if these are the exact same colors. So that's... Alright, so the hospital and its storage area are the same outside color as the hall. The kitchen is painted with this darker turquoise. You can see the difference. Look here. You've got 3 different colors in use here. You've got the light turquoise, you've got middle, and then you've got dark. I like more like these colors because it's a lot more. It has a much more soothing kind of feel, and I like that. Now, for those who are going to review the ship, the doors that have buttons are most likely going to either be cabins or public rooms. The ones that are labeled with the new doors that have these on them, hover over these with your mouse, and you should see what I have written, which in this case right here would be backup generators. It would say this on both doors. Same with each end here. You've got cargo holds and turbines. That's what these hatches lead to. You've got crew cabins. Here you've got a crew cabin that's like this, and you've got this one. So basically the ones on the outside are going to have windows. Interior, sorry, they're not. Then through here, you've got the mailroom, and I recently detailed this to have little packages and all. Down here, little mailroom. It's a little storage area for mail. I couldn't add any more shelving due to space, but that's about as close as you could get. I could probably, if I wanted to, I could probably take this and just duplicate it up and have like a library ladders, but oh well. Here's the main mail room, red, put in the red stripe, which I like. Got the mail sorting tables. Then you've got the main ladder that goes down here into the peak tank, which is this room. It's also got emergency lighting. Then you've got the forecastle up here, which has another storage room here. I built this a while back. There really is not much here. But, yeah. You got a little Easter egg. I'm not going to say what ship that's from. You guys will have to guess. Now, I figured out what this will be. This room here will be an art gallery. The room behind it will be a shopping area. There'll be multiple little shops. And then above it will be a casino because the bar and smoking room are here, and I might actually put a little doorway in to connect the 3 later. I don't know when that'll be, but it might be, soon. Which means if I do that, there's going to be normal doors here. You won't just be able to walk in. You've got to actually have a door. I call it motor ship. That's what MS stands for, is motor ship. Now, all of the lights I'm going to be putting in next are going to have to just be wired later. So, yeah. This is where the X-plane will come in handy. I would be brushing my teeth right now, but my sister is taking a shower, which I do not want to disturb. Now, emergency lights are going to be here. So take note. The emergency lights are the lights that have a deep orange as their light color. They stand out. You know which ones are the emergency lights. These have a bit of a dimmer glow, but they're going to be spread out sparsely. Kind of like this. See how there's just the emergency lights here, but no other lights yet? That's because I put those in first and wired them up first. So I may need somebody to help me with wiring these later, but these are primarily to just get you out, help you get out of the ship. They are not here for normal lighting. They are only here for if the main power grid fails and you need to get out of the ship. Like if you're down here and the power fails and if there are no lights, you're screwed. And I may have Ace help me make these so that they turn on automatically as well as manually, because I wanted these to be able to be turned on manually, but now that I think about it, I think automatically just might be just as better, just as good, if that makes sense. Because God forbid, if you lost the emergency generators, you're screwed, because one set generator on one side is going to be for controlling the lights, and the other is going to be for lifeboats. So you'd need to have those running. Yeah, there's those lights installed. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, for God's sakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I hope that's right. I'm going to be ticked if it's not. Currently, I'm putting holes for where the normal lights will go. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 13 would be there. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So those go there. Now these are the normal lights. These are the ones that are non-emergency. Yeah, I've already put emergency lights here in the turbine room and in some of these rooms. Now, if you're wondering why these don't have them, that's because these cabins have not been built yet. That's what's going to be up here, cabins. Below, there's not going to be anything else. D-deck is going to be the final deck to have any kind of interior details. But these are the normal lights. And you can tell by looking at them that the colors are different. Like right there's a good contrast. Plus, only one set works. I'm worried about letting Thor in because of what he did that night. I mean, as you could see, he was fine, but I'm worried about now. I'm worried he's going to do that just to try and get attention. Which, buddy, that doesn't exactly get you the attention you were hoping for, just saying. Okay, so I actually got these off. They're actually this color. They're a bit of a lighter brownish color. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, for God's sakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, for God's sakes. I keep losing count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm just going to do that. There we go. Do this. And I'll go back through and repaint these. But I may need help with somebody. I might need somebody to help me out with wiring these lights up. I'm just installing them. I'm going to need somebody to help me wire them. Now, yes, as you can see, I'm going to have to do this on the exact same side. On the opposite side, that is. Great. I don't even know if I'm doing this right, to tell you the truth. I'm going to laugh if these are all off by like 1. No, they're... Okay, they look fine. That's perfect. Okay, that one just took out the entire door, so that's going to be an issue. Well, okay. So, this one's going to have to be off, because this one removed an entire door. Wonderful. Okay, then. Let's see how this is. So this one's just going to have to be only on this side due to the door. So that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. Alright. So that one's going to be off, but y'all will know the reason as to why. But this is the main grid here, what you're seeing me putting in. Yeah, these are the main lights. You'll know which ones are the main power grid, which lights are part of the ship's main electrical grid, like electrical network, and which ones are not. Because the emergency lights, those will be off, whereas everything else is going to be on. Like if these lights are on, that means the normal grids are on. If those are on, that means the main power grid is off. They're separate circuits. Yes, I've watched Runaway Train, Liam McLaughlin. It's not unsinkable. This thing will sink. I'll be making sure to add plenty of doors somewhere in the ship for that. It's just a matter of where. Oh, also, the ship does have bow thrusters, I should mention. I mean, the problem is the ship is so big that we can't even get... Well, Red, I needed you on because this is going to be the up-to-date version of the ship. I'm trying to go all out as I can with this. In fact, I need to get some placeholder slot machines in here so I know which room this will be. In fact, I need to save this. Now, none of the lights I've installed are wired. They're not connected to electricity. They're not connected to any button. So, yeah. I'm going to need... Red, if you look on the bridge, you'll see a button that says lower deck lights. I'd use that one to connect not the light yellow colored lights to. You'll see the one that I have all the dark orange lights connected to. Those are emergency lights. Now, since this is hooked up, this already presents an interesting thing. All I have to do for these is color them like this, and this automatically room now automatically has emergency lighting. The same goes with the smoking room and bar. These have 4 emergency lights in each corner, 1 in each corner. The same now applies to this. Now, as you can see, none of these are wired. So that'll make this a lot easier because I can tell which areas need to be wired up now. But you can see already just how many emergency lights are already on the ship. Ones that were in parts that I've already wired, well, they're going to have to be rewired, son. That's all I'm going to say. You owe a debt, son. Pay it. Now you can tell where these are. You can see the stairwell. Those are directly behind the generator room. Now these are logicked up, but as you can see, well, none of them have power. And you see, I have all of the power for these hooked up to the ship's to one of the spotlights, because that's not meant to be removed. Oh no. But you can see I'm trying to make the logic more uniform as far as what electrical connections go. Like, see, this is being connected into a giant square. That makes that. So if I do this, you can see it. You can see it easier. As you can see, that's only a few things I've managed to wire, but now I've got to test it. Now, you'll see what I mean when the ship is able to be sunk. It's been able to be sunk just by flooding the bottom compartments. As you can see, presently. Now these are already flooded due to the door frames and staircase going down into the storage room. Like, see, for instance, here's a good example. Like, say this is flooding, which in this case now it is. Correction. Ah, there's the holes. Yeah, I remember I put 2 holes here into the generator room there to help keep the ship, the bow, from capsizing, because when you spawn this in further out, it's so unstable it capsizes. I've seen it. But it's interesting how you can see where I've put the bilge pumps throughout the ship. I think what I need to do is make the sync mech be just like something like that, where, you know, something, God forbid, fails, and then, you know, you've got water flooding in from somewhere, but you can't figure it out or stop it. Well, I mean, the thing is, this is going to be... Bub Joe, what's up, my friend? Bub Joe. Hey, Joe. What you doing now? As you can see, that's helped raise this out of the water a bit. Not, obviously, not by any kind of real margin, but you can tell. Now, see, this is for the galley, and then through here would be the kitchen. Now, you can see, everything is wired. Each section has its own set of batteries. The ship's main battery plant was behind the generator room, which it now, as you can see from this, is currently flooding. Now, the generators, they don't, because the fuel tank's not in one piece, not anymore. But the emergency lights do. But what I was hoping for them to do, what I was hoping, and what I originally had planned for this, was that I was hoping, like, the one thing I wanted there to be, trying to get this where it makes sense. The idea I had for these is the emergency lights could only be turned on once the generators are running, or once, say, the battery is fully charged. Once either the battery is dead or the engine runs out of fuel, that's it. But in this case, if I go into night, you'll see most of these work. As you can see, there's only 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 8 emergency lights in this entire compartment. There's about 4 in here. But you'll see as I walk forward, you'll understand what I mean. There's only a few compartments that have lights. Turbine hall has about 6. It's got only 6 bulbs. Cargo holds only have 4. Now see, this is what I mean. These are only meant to light this up enough to where you can get out. They are not meant to be used as normal lights. The male cargo hold has about 6. So you can see where I'm going with this. And this one has 8. Mail rooms are the same deal. Back mailroom has 4 lights. Forward one has at least 6. Up here in the forecastle, there's only 4. 1 in each corner of the room, which is how I'm wanting the public areas to be. Like, if there's enough, like, corridors and stairwells are going to have more emergency lights. But, like, everything else is going to be... But all of the other areas, like this, will only have, like, at least 4 lights. 1 light in each corner of the room. In fact, as you can see here, the gallery already has its 4 lights running. So that's a good sign. I usually do this to let myself, so I know which areas have lights. Now the bar and smoking room, as you can see, this is pretty much what I was hoping the lights, like this here is what I intended the lighting to be like with the emergency lights in the public areas. There's not a lot of light at all. It's only bright enough for you to see a way out, which are the doorways. Now that'll be the same here. There'll probably only be a light or 2, say, in front of the doors here. There'll only be an emergency light here, and then one at the back part of the crew area here. Super Josh, what's up? Commenter, what's up? Now, as you can see, I've already got promenade lights. Now, as you can see, here's the emergency lights for the art gallery. There's still enough lights to light the room itself up, but these are only lighted up enough for you to get out. The same will be with the casino. Only 4 lights, 1 in each corner of the room. So, I mean, you can see the difference. Now, Red, about those domes you put onto that top stern cafe thing, I'd remove them because I already had a different design in mind that I was going to build soon enough, so I would just hold off on building the domes there, alright? We need to detail the bow and all that. I'd like to try and get some external detailing for this. Now here's a good example as well. You can see the emergency lights down here are already lit up. And since there's an open doorway here, that means I really don't need to install any. Up here in this upper room, I can put normal lights and then it would be fine. But as you can see here, this one emergency light is not powered. It's not connected to anything. So this is why I have to go through and go through here manually and test it. As you can see, there's only enough emergency lights here to just light up the corridor, but barely. Just barely. You can see all the new lights I've put in that are not wired to anything. Now, as you can see, this will start to sink the ship right here. Y'all quit being hateful to everybody else, for God's sakes. I mean, that's just... What will you gain out of that, huh? Ask yourselves that. What will you gain out of hating on everybody else? Not much. So all I'm going to say is you won't gain much. Not by a long shot. As you can see, I'm going to have to go through and repaint these. You can see the generator room is now rapidly taking on water, which would be bad because now the power would fail. And basically, see, I was hoping the lights could do that. Like, say, these end up failing, the lights end up failing. In fact, what I plan on doing in here is doing what I did in the engine room, which is adding a metric ton of bilge pumps on this back wall. I've done it before. I can do it again. Also, you can see the shelving here has equipment related to each area. Like the bow thrust room has got spare equipment. This has spare parts. The engine room is the same way, but on a much bigger scale. And yes, as you can see, we're bloody sinking. Don't ask me any more questions. Now see, these are as big as the crew cabins in this specific area will be, and there's at least 4, 2 on each side. These interior ones are not going to have windows. The ones on the outer sides will. And I was hoping Red could detail them. And I was hoping he could do the detailing in the kitchen as well, if possible. Now watch what I'm going to do here. You can see the flooding is progressing rapidly. Once water gets up to those hatches there, it's going to start flooding down into here. While it also floods into the cargo holders up there. In other words, that door's going to be closed. But now you can see when I hover over this, it says bow thrusters right there. Then over here, cargo hold number 2. Now this shows that the ship is visibly sinking. Now what will happen is since most of the compartments on the bottom are flooding quicker, that's going to start to shift the weight here from being at the back to being forward. In other words, the ship is going to go down by the bow. Once the water floods the cargo holds, it'll end up sinking. Luca Yates, what's up? I see what goose. I see you have a goose there on your profile picture. And if you guys are all going to start hating on each other's subscribers, don't. I started out with I started with 0 and hung out at 20 or 30 for a while before it finally caught up. We've been there ourselves once or twice. All right, now the midship portion. Now this part I can already tell you. Now for those who are curious, this part I'll already be able to tell you. It will not float. But now as you can see, here's the rest of the hospital, which is going to be fun because I'm going to have to repaint all of it. Yay! Now here's something interesting. With the kitchen, I walled this area off, which is right here. So this is the kitchen. This is as big as the kitchen will be, but right here is the ship's sauna. Now you're probably asking, well, why is it not on D-deck? Well, it's because you'd have to go through a million different stairwells to get to it. So I figured, why not just wall the kitchen off and make this be the sauna? That's 2 rooms. Now, as you can see, the midsection has got lights. It's got emergency lights. But it doesn't have those exit signs. I want to get those exit signs in the ship somehow. I didn't just make them so they would be sitting on the deck. I put them there so they could be taken and installed. Same here. You can see I've got emergency lights going down the center of the library here. Now, it's probably going to have the same thing for the stairwells. Like, they were going to be spaced, like, probably about maybe 1 to 3 emergency lights in front of each staircase, so you'd be able to figure it out. So that way you'd be able to see it. Or I might do like I've been doing and have there be just emergency lights in all 4 corners of each room, which I think will be the norm throughout this now. Now, of course, the problem will be the tiling. How are you going to get the lights when you got the tiling in the way? Look, let me tell you something. The original design, I'm not going to lie, the original whole design was not exactly good. I'm sorry if I'm being, like, blunt, but, I mean, it's true. It was near to impossible for us to get anything done as far as getting the engines hooked up. With this version, we actually got it to move before we had to cut it apart again. Like, I actually have a version of the ship right here that's joined together. Right here. Look here. See what your design is morphed into, my friend. Well, not only because it was stubby, it was proving difficult to get everything hooked up mechanically. And there was a few things Red wanted in the ship that we just simply could not put in due to space. With this monster, we now have plenty of space and then some. Here's the monster as she is now. Now this version is now out of date. This sectioned version, it's out of date. And you can tell because the cabins I built aren't there, obviously. But this is what I hope to see the ship as. A complete ship. currently, though, all of the engine mechanics have been disconnected because of me having to cut the ship in two. And that's due to all the logic, obviously, being cut. Meaning, well, there's no meaning everything in here is going to have to be completely rewired, which is very annoying for all of us because. So that's why I'm wanting to try and get as much done as I can. Now, as you can see, now I'm currently repainting all of this. And of course my battery's dying as usual, even though I have it hooked up to a normal power supply. This phone can charge fast. I know this because it didn't die when I was able to stream for over an hour. I've only been streaming for about an hour now, and it's only... Well, it's about to be an hour, but yeah. This is basically just me bringing out my inner Bob Ross, basically. This is Bob Ross, but if he were somebody who painted the inside of ships, basically. I mean, here's a good contrast. This shows up better in low light, so that's a good thing. Now, bear in mind, the inside... Now, let me just run you guys down what each of these is going to be. For the hospital one, the very front storage room, which is this room here, that's, of course, got the other end and all in the bow section. This one, along with the one in the kitchen area, is going to be for refrigerated goods. The forward room will be for refrigerated storage, like storage of refrigerated goods, like say you have medicines and food that need to be refrigerated, that goes in this storage room on this side, and then on this one in the other. The one in the middle is for frozen goods, like frozen foods and medicine and whatnot. They're not all being stored together, no. That's why there's two separate storage rooms. Why would you store food with medicines? That makes no sense. I love it. The last thing y'all are probably going to see before my phone goes dead is the freaking ship being painted internally. That'd be funny. Imagine that. Streamer dies while painting freaking Stormworks ship, not clickbait. No, I'm just kidding. That's like the worst title, and that's probably like the most stupidest one I've ever heard. It's like when you want this to be done, but then realize you have an entire huge hospital space to do. Now, by the way, Red, for the hospital, this is where you need to do a ton, and I mean a ton of reference work, okay? This is where you need to get, photos, videos, anything you can find regarding what vintage hospitals looked like. Like, I mean, the equipment can be from every area you could think of, okay? But I want the hospital area to be very detailed, and I am thinking of sectioning it off. Like, so, say you have, like, a surgery area here, where it's, like, say you've got, like, an area for major surgeries, like in the very back, which would be in this part that I'm painting. And then, you've got, like, a waiting room and something else. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe you could try and think of a way to make it all detailed as hell. But that would be nice. Basically, I want the ship... What I was saying earlier is I didn't want the ship to look like it was just half-assed detailed and put together and then released. No, I want this to be far more detailed than the Edisto 2. But I want to give it, all of our own sort of design touches. Basically, I'm wanting this ship to basically outdo the Edisto 2, or at least have the same, if not slightly more. Like, as far as detail levels go, I want this thing to rival the Edisto 2. Basically, I want this thing to be as detailed as possible. But I don't want the details looking like they were just half-assed done and then just put in. No, I want the details to be something out of, one of the more professional shipbuilders in Stormworks. Like, say, Aqua or GB Danny or something like that. Basically. Because I want the ship to look good enough for release. That is the main thing I want this thing to be looking like right now. Is I want it to look good enough to where it can be released and me not worry about a million and one things going wrong with it. If you get what I'm saying, Red. Right, now that's done. Thank goodness. Alright, so that's now completely repainted. Thank God. Now, as far as the midsection goes, there's only a few areas that need detailing, which is the hospital, kitchen, and sauna, along with their respected storage rooms. And then from there, the reading and writing room needs to be built, and then the child's playroom needs to be built. And then, other than that, the only other thing that needs to be done is adding the passenger cabins on D-deck, which will all be throughout here. Now, I'm debating on if I want to have them split like this, to where they're still suites. Like, say, the forward half of this is like a suite, and then you've got like a little bedroom or roomette here on the back or something like that. I don't know if I want to make them like really big cabins or if I want to make them all just Because the thing is, I want there to be details. There needs to be details. That's the key here. There needs to be details on the ship. Like, I want the cabins to be detailed as the one put into the Edisto 2. Maybe even more detailed than that. Now, for the Sona, this can be completely repainted, if anything. Same with the floors. We need, like, a floor design for this. I mean, for the kitchen, I'm thinking of going with the iconic black and white tile pattern or linoleum pattern you see in kitchens or diners. I'm thinking of going with that. Now, I think, yeah, this goes into the shopping area here. Up here would be the casino entrance. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. Unless that's up here. Now I'm confused. I think this is for the officers' quarters. Below it is the casino. Below that is the shopping area, and then forward of that is the gallery. And I think that's the case. If I were to spawn the bow section in, which I could do theoretically, it probably would lead to that. But you can see I've walled this off, and I was going to put doors in so that, you could, put the slides in. Like, see, what I was going to have was there'd be just a row of slot machines on each side, and then in the middle you'd have, like, your card tables, your blackjack tables, your roulette tables, all that. You'd have all that in the middle. Same with maybe a dartboard, because remember, if you guys were to look, had you guys not have gotten rid of that other Discord, you would have seen I sent tons of reference photos of stuff from slot machines to dartboards to tile designs, and clearly none of y'all bothered to save those pictures. And I don't have them saved, so yeah, that's a loss now. He won't be mad at you. He'll probably be more mad at a lot. I don't think he'll be mad at you, Red. He's probably going to be madder at me more than anything. He has a right to be. I want this ship to one-up the Edisto 2 as far as detail, because it's just as big, but there's just as much space that could be utilized, and I want to utilize every last ounce of it. Now the next problem, the lights. None of the lights are going to end up, as you can see, none of the normal lights or emergency lights have any kind of power. None of the engines have power. Oh, and if you're wondering, here's the shelf for the engine room. Yeah, I made sure to go overboard with this. No pun intended. Like, you've got air pipes, pumps, you name it, it's here. Oh, and when I said this thing was going to have a metric ton of bilge pumps, but God, a minute, look at how many I got here, boys. Yeah, I went overboard with the bilge pumps. I mean, the engine room is the most vital part of the ship, so you're damn right I'm going to put as many as I can inside the ship. By the way, take note. I think I've got enough bilge pumps in here. Yes. Now over here is going to be the machine shop area. This is going to be where the ship's the engine room's machine shop will be. It's basically like the Georgian Flyer, but times like 50. Now, as for this corridor technically right now ends right at the ship, at the stern bulkhead, just before the theater. Now, the reason is because of the staircase in the stern. That's going to go down at its normal level. Okay, it's not going to be like this one here on D-deck, no. It's not going to go down like this. I'm wanting it to go down like this because we don't have to deal with the second funnel casing going all throughout the ship. That's just the first one. The back one ends, as you saw, just before that final bulkhead there with the hallway coming out the back. We could paste this portion of the staircase in if we wanted to. And technically, it wouldn't be much of a problem, per se. Alright, so you can see what I do with the stairs. I've tried to make them a little bit more interesting, but basically, what I'm wanting to do is basically take, oh, I don't know, this section here, and just basically go all out with, well, not all out, basically what I'd be wanting to do is taking, say, the section from B deck, which is, or C deck, which is here, and basically just paste it in, not that section, more like this part of the staircase here, basically saying, like, taking this section and pasting it down, and having this be the D deck staircase. That's what I'm wanting to try and do. In fact, you'll see when I spawn the stern section in what I'm talking about. I've already cut the that part out. By the way, Red, I wouldn't bother doing those domes. I've already got an idea for them. I mean, technically, I have an idea for the domes already, so just don't bother doing those. I've got them. I've already got an idea. Now here's the stern section, which is one of the only major parts of the ship that's even complete at the moment. And for those who don't know, I've put a shuffleboard thing here, right there. You've got the upper deck here that looks down onto the tennis court. Then out the back, you've got this little sort of private seating area. So all that needs to be put in out here are deck chairs. There just needs to be deck chairs all throughout here and up here. There needs to be some kind of bar stool design for this. I'm not wanting there to be the one from the inside bar because that's just too much trouble. I mean, I've shown Jesse the ship, and he's been blown away by it, to say the least. But now, as you can see, there are no promenade deck lights on down here in the enclosed promenade, and that's because of this. Now, by the way, the children's playroom wall is right there. The reading and writing room is here. So basically, the entire playroom is there. There's just got to be a way to detail it. Now, Dave, I know you've built one of those, so that might be your thing. So basically, now here's X staircase landing. Now, say if you were to take B decks out, copy it down, and then you'd have what for the staircase for this. Now, this has been cleared out because this is where the theater's going to go. It's basically going to be an land-bound theater. Like if you look at vintage and ornate theaters, if you type that Google search in just there, you'll see the type of theater I was hoping could be put into here. There's room for it. Like there's the staircase right here is going to lead down to a lobby that'll be in part of the bulk in this part of the ship here. Like the main theater lobby / entrance would be right in here. The actual seating would be around here, and the stage would be somewhere right in here. And the hallways are going to be like the forward portion of the ship. It's going to branch out into a T section, and then it'll have entrances coming in on either side. And I'm honestly thinking of having the theater, there basically being probably either a 3x3 or a 4x4 hallway going on either side of the theater. So basically, you can see how this is going to go out, or pan out, depending on how everything goes. Now, basically, there's going to be a difference as far as height goes. And the reason I say that is because I'm wanting the staircase to be the same height as the one going down between the decks currently. And that's because the funnel casing doesn't come back this far. In fact, let me just get the midsection of the ship and spawn it in. And prepare to watch my computer die. I take that back. It didn't die. Oh wait, but now it will. There we go. So now here's what this thing would look like if both sections were put back together currently, as they currently stand. So see, you've got the reading and writing room entrance right here. You'd walk through this hallway, and then you'd be in here and then into the library. Children's playroom is here. It's not that big of a room. Now further up, you now have the entrances into the lounge. Bottom part of the lounge, upper lounge. And of course from there back you've got the dining room and cafe. So now here's where the kicker is. The hallway is going to be a bit lower down than the actual staircase because I'm wanting the theater to have a sort of slope going downwards. I'm debating on whether the theater should be either like one that's like got like a balcony level and then the main seating lower down, or if it should be the kind where when you walk in, it just gradually slopes down. If I'm able to do either one of those, then technically I could have this hallway go off into like a T section here and then just, you know, go from there. Which is what I'm going to do right here. And forgive me, I said it was going to be large. It's going to be like this. Which means the emergency lights and all normal lights are going to be in the walls on either side. Uh-oh. Alright, so you've got the wall. So you've got the hallway here. I mean, you can see now what I'm trying to base this design on. This is so it can get around the staircase and into the theater. Basically, in short, there's going to be a theater in here. And I'm trying to debate what I should put in the back here, because I don't know if I want to put anything in these areas of the ship, since, well, you've got the curvature of the stern. I'm the oldest out of all of you fools. I'm 19. Now, as you can see, this is where both sides of the hallway would sort of pan out, so to speak. My phone's at 20%, so I'm going to end the stream real soon. Now the problem will be trying to save these sections once they're done. I'm literally painting against the clock here. And that's it. Right. Now the fun part is going to be trying to save all this. But that's going to be off camera because this is where the stream ends. I will see y'all later because I need to let my phone charge ASAP.